Hey everybody, how are y'all? It is Monday morning, about 11 o'clock here in East Texas, and I am sitting in my studio. This is the end where I teach my classes, for the workshops and everything, so this is really the best place for me to do the filming, so that's why I'm coming to y'all live from here. But today is today is Monday, and we're starting something new here on Faith and Pearl, and that is Maker Monday Live. And what Maker Monday Live is going to be or what Maker Monday Live is we're going to all meet here on Mondays, obviously, and chat about all things creative. I've been getting a lot of questions from either my students in my workshop or Facebook friends, Instagram friends, things like that, questions, and they're all over the place. And so instead of trying to address all of those here and there and you know, all over the place again, I thought we would do a Maker Monday, and I can address those questions here. If y'all are hopping on the live here, y'all let us know you're here. Jump on, say hi, where you're from, all that sort of thing, so that we know who's in the group. And if y'all have any questions as we're going along, make sure you put them in the comments, type them out so we can answer them here. So back to Maker Monday. We're going to meet here on Mondays at 11 a.m. Central, and we're going to talk about all the creative things, all the crafty things, art things, all the questions that y'all have. So y'all feel free to keep sending me these messages asking me things, and that gives me a list to talk about here and share with everybody else. And at least once a month right now, we may change that to 2 times a month, I'm going to bring in some of my maker besties, y'all. I have so many creative friends. I've been in the maker, junker, vendor world for years, 10 plus years, and I've met a lot of wonderful people, men and women, and I'd like to share their process, their business, etc. here, and just kind of pick their brain for y'all. And I think that's going to be a really cool thing for all of us. So what we're going to talk about today is, if you saw the post earlier, what is that fuzzy stuff? Well, that fuzzy stuff is roving, and if you didn't catch the picture, the post, I'm going to show you what we're talking about. This is a little mini weaving that I did in one of the workshops, and can you see this fuzzy, bumpy stuff right there? Hey, Kat, happy Monday! Thanks for joining from West Texas. Can you see that fuzzy, bumpy stuff there? And then there's some more in a different color that's a narrower width here that I used as the fringe. So what that is roving. And I didn't even know what roving was initially. I mean, I saw it on the packages, the description. I'd seen it mentioned, but I didn't really know what it was. So I Googled it because, you know, Google is wonderful. And let me see. Let me pull up the definition here of what Wikipedia says is roving. A roving is a long and narrow bundle of fiber. Rovings are produced during the process of making spun yarn from wool, fleece, raw cotton, or other fibers. The main use of roving is a fiber prepared for spinning, but they may also be used for specialized kinds of knitting and other textile arts. So, hey Mom, I see you're on here too. Good morning. So what roving is one of the steps. It's like a mid-step in the process from taking the wool or the cotton or whatever is going to be spun into yarn. It's the middle process. So they take the wool and they card it, what's called carding, and it looks like it kind of looks like a pet brush, you know, like a wire bristled pet brush. And so what they do is they card it and they smooth it out, and I think it kind of breaks it up and pulls it so that they get it ready for spinning. And you know what spinning is. There's old-fashioned way of the spinning wheel, but there is Thank you, Miss Paula. You're awesome. And hey, Elaine from Columbia, South Carolina. Thank you for being here, ladies. So roving is a step in the process of turning raw wool or fiber into yarn. So your end result would look something like this, and this is just a skein of yarn, and this is a variegated, really cool pattern yarn, but roving is the middle step in the process. So I want to show you a couple of different kinds that I have that I work with, and these can be used, of course, in weaving because that's what I do. Thank you, Mom. Weaving is what I do, but it's used in knitting, crochet, anything that you would use yarn, you can use roving, or in most applications you could use roving. So I'm going to show you one. This first one is a wool roving, and this one's called a pencil roving just because of the size. I don't know if you can tell. It's thin. It's about the size of a pencil, and it's a little bit thicker than what a normal standard yarn size would be. But can you see how it's fuzzy? And it has a lot of texture to it. You can pull on it and actually get these fibers off. So that's kind of what they carded together to put it together to make the roving yarn. And that is what I used again right here, like in my fringe on this little guy, or this little girl. She can't be a guy. She's too pretty to be a guy. And then I also used it in this one to do some weaving. Right in there, the twining, and then right in here, and then there also. So you can use this like a regular weaving. It just gives you a little more texture. I mean, you can use it like a regular yarn. It gives you a little more texture, a little difference in your in whatever it is that you're making. Now that one was a wool, and then it comes in big chunky ones too. That's just what I have is the pencil. This big guy, look at this. It's huge. It is this big monster roll, and I got it at Hobby Lobby, and this one is a wool blend. And let me just cut a piece off because that'll be easier to work with. And again, it cuts like regular yarn. But can you see how it's very fibrous, very, you can pull it apart and make it very wispy. You could probably do some really cool things with this. It kind of reminds me when you pull it out, like, I'm going to date myself, but if y'all, who remembers the old, what's it called, angel's hair that we used to put on the Christmas trees? And you had to pull it apart, and it makes like this webby stuff. Or kind of like that spider web package webbing that you can buy at Halloween. It kind of has that look to it when you pull it apart. But it makes a really cool, wouldn't it make really neat hair on some kind of little felted or knitted critter? It's just really cool. But it comes like this, so you can weave it or crochet with it as is, or you can, fray it out. You can brush it with a comb and get some really cool, I don't know, kind of fairy tale looking stuff going on there. Thank you, Elaine. Those are some pretty colors I was working with, weren't they? They were actually inspired by, I don't know if you can see it, but right in there is that fabric right there. That was a repurposed piece, and in my beginner weaving workshop, we're all about doing it on a budget, and so a lot of times that includes taking clothing or fabric that you have, or you can find cheap at a garage sale or a thrift store and cut it or tear it into strips and weave with that. So that's where this color scheme came from, and I thought it was really fun, that pretty cranberry color. Yes, gnome beards, Santa beards, hair, yes, Elaine. It's really cool stuff, like a unicorn tail or a horse's tail. I mean, you could do all kinds of cool things with that stuff. It's pretty neat. So there's that. And then this is another type of roving, and this is a synthetic roving. So this is acrylic. And the acrylic is a little cheaper than the wool blend or the wool So that's a good, cost-effective alternative if you're working on a budget. But I want to show you how this one is put together. So I'm going to cut off another chunk. This one, if you can see on the end there, has more like a center cord in it. And that cord is still very fibery, but it looks so much different than the wool or the wool blend. So I'm going to show y'all this. See how you can pull on it and you get it off just like in the other one. But if you get down to that core part, see how I just kind of pulled it back? It looks very different. I hope y'all can see that. It almost looks like, again, I'm dating myself, crimped hair from the 80s. Do y'all remember that? Those crimp irons we had? Mom, if you're still on here, I know you remember it because 3 daughters and we love that thing. But it kind of has this different look to it when you pull it apart. And you can take a comb, just a regular, hair comb. I stole this one from Brady because he's not here. He is on vacation with his dad, and I just got a picture from them a little bit ago, and they're in Wyoming, and it's a pretty picture of him in front of a waterfall, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm kind of all kinds of jealous, would love to be there right now, but I'm glad he's having a good time. So I just took my comb and I brushed it out, and again, it kind of looks like a tail, but it always has that little bit of crimping in there, and there's what it looks like. I used this in a green color in some weavings that I did, I don't know, a month or so ago. If you saw them, they're like the Woodland Fairy weavings that I did. And yeah, Mom, you remember the crimp iron. They were awesome. Miss Paula, if you're still on here, I'm sure you do too, because Angela probably played with one or used one too. We all did back in junior high, back in those days. But if you saw the green fairy tale weavings that I did, that green ropey, it looked like twine, vines kind of crawling through it and then hanging down and swooping. That's what this was, but I used it was in green, like this really dark forest green color. So this is it in a burgundy, cranberry kind of color. And like I said, I've pulled that back and brushed that center core out, so you get this totally different, kind of looks like a little witch's broom there, doesn't it? But you can see how it's still kind of crimped, and so it gives it a totally different look. So those are the 3 rovings that I've worked with. I'm really kind of itching to get my hands on some hand spun, or it wouldn't be spun yet, but some natural wool roving that I don't know if y'all are aware, but there is a whole other industry in the yarn world, in the crafting world, that is art yarn, and it's very nubby, lots of texture, mixed colors, and it's all hand spun. So what I'm dying to get my hands on is some of the roving from that process. There is a yarn shop and winery outside of Round Top where we do our big show twice a year. It's in Fayetteville, and it's called Blue Mule, Blue Mule, like a donkey, mule, Blue Mule Winery and Fiber. So when we go down to Rockport this weekend, or maybe next week on the way back, I'm going to try to stop in there and try to get my hands on some. I met the ladies that run it back when we were in Round Top. They came to see me in the booth. They've bought silk tassels in the past, and I'm just really itching to get to their store to get my hands on some of that roving. So has anybody else on here worked with roving in any form or fashion? You know what else it would make really cool? This is again going back to Round Top. I don't know if you've seen this lady, and I don't know her name, but she's pretty incredible, and she dresses up for every Junk Gypsy prom. And I actually ran into her also in St. Angelo at Petticoats on the Prairie, so I think she's from somewhere in West Texas. But she's this beautiful woman, and she makes these incredible hats. And the last one I saw had a wolf head on the front that I believe she had felted it, like created the wolf head. It had these, all these different, I don't know, plants, but greenery and things on it. And then inside, she had made what looked like these very earthy, organic dreadlocks. And this would make the coolest dreadlocks. let me cut another piece that's not, I know I'm losing y'all, but if you're into costume making and that sort of thing, that type of art, then this would make really cool, like that. And that's what I think that's what she had used in hers. If you know this lady, and again, I don't know her name, but she's precious and really cool and does not mind dressing up. Kat, I knew you would know it. Deborah Nolan Keith. Okay, I would love to pick Deborah's brain. And in fact, I'm going to try to get her on here to talk to y'all, maybe, if she will. I don't know her. I've met her a couple times. But if she will get on here and talk to y'all for one of the Maker Mondays, that would be really cool. Let's see. I don't know if I can scroll down. Okay, yeah, I can. Mom, Janine, you've used it in your needle punch machine. Oh, okay. Mom says she has a whole drawer full of roving, so yes, I will be coming to get some of that and get my hands on it. And then Elaine says, I recently bought roving from a sheep farmer on Etsy, and she hand-dyed for me and my gnome beards. Beautiful, clean wool. And it's not letting me see more. So y'all have to look at that in the comments, or maybe y'all can see it all and I just can't. So Elaine, you make gnomes then. You make little creatures, little characters like that, or big, or my timer's going off. Okay. Y'all, that's kind of a strange thing, but what I've learned in doing Facebook Lives is that you need to be on there at least 15 minutes for Facebook to kind of pick it up and say, okay, y'all, here's this, to show it to everybody. So I set a timer for 15 minutes just to make sure that I actually sat here and ran my mouth for 15 minutes. So thank y'all for helping me with that. Kathy, let's see, what does Kathy say? Kathy loves dreadlocks. Girl, you could rock some dreadlocks too. And Kat, yes, so, and dreadlocks for mannequin head art. Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Like a big hat is what I'm thinking, like hers. The wolf is not really my thing. She rocked it, y'all. She's awesome, but I would do probably flowers because that's, that's how I roll. So, Kat, yes, I will send her a friend request on Facebook because I really need to get to know this lady. She's really cool, really creative. And I could just tell that by meeting her the couple times that I did. So thank you for letting me know her name. And point her this way too, if you don't mind. So that's the type of rovings that I've worked with. That's the type of rovings that I'm familiar with. And I love to see that other people using them for other things, like Elaine says, for mannequin head art and for her little gnomes and fairies and things like that. I could totally see this one as a unicorn tail. And I know y'all, if y'all have little girls in your life, unicorns are the thing right now, like huge unicorn fan. So does anybody know any other I lost my words, y'all. Elaine, redistributed proudly. What does that mean? I'm not following you. So does anybody have any questions about roving, kind of what it is and how to use it, or does anyone have any ways they want to share and how they've used it? Hey, Daddy, I see you just jumped on here too. So I've got my family on here, both my parents on here. That's fun. Nothing like putting me on the spot here. If y'all do, and if I don't, haven't addressed them here, y'all let me know. Put it in the comments below or send me a message, direct message me anytime you want. I'm happy to get those. And again, next week, I'm not sure what the topic's going to be yet, but I will let y'all know. And I've already got my first two. Oh, you shared the page, Elaine. Thank you. I got it. I got you now. I thought you were talking about something in your craft, and I was a little confused. Thank you for sharing the page. Thank y'all so much for all the comments and the likes and shares. It's y'all have been such a blessing to me. But I already have the first two makers lined up to interview on here, and I know y'all are going to love them. They're precious ladies. They're two of my very dear friends, and they are two creative rock stars, y'all. So I will announce those as it gets closer. And again, next Monday we're going to be on the road because we've got to be down in Rockport this weekend for Rockport Market Days. I'm helping Jeff run his booth, and today is Jeff's birthday. So those of you that are friends with him here on Facebook or follow his page, Silver to Wear and More, y'all jump on there and give him a shout out and tell him happy birthday. And so I'm going down there to help him this weekend, and Monday we'll be on the road, so I will probably be coming to y'all live from the back of the RV while he's driving to wherever we're going next. So if y'all don't have any more questions, and I'm going to jump off of here, and if you think of something later, put it in the comments below so that everyone can benefit from that. And I thank y'all so much for jumping on here. It was really nice to get to talk to y'all, and I can't wait to do it again next week. Bye, y'all.